Man, I remember watching this as an actual cosmic fetus. I wonder if it holds up. Hey, is it just me or does everyone look really skinny? Wait, when was this uploaded? 17 years ago? Slap. I'm SlappyPat. Welcome to Internet Buried Treasure, where I find old, obscure, and forgotten content on the internet. Today, we're digging all the way to bedrock for an absolute YouTube classic that no one but me has ever seen. But you're in luck, because I'm in a sharing mood today. And that's how I get you to keep coming back, baby. Oh yeah. Heck yeah, alright. Today we're taking a look at this ancient web series and why I can't stop thinking about these two 15 years after they were last relevant. And then I'll put it on my tier list for how well it's aged. Is it the half-eaten yogurt cup in the back of the fridge that you forgot about for a year? Or is it something a little more, how you say, refined, huh? I know the answer. I guess you'll have to wait and see. So join me, Cosmic Cadets, on this galactic search for internet buried treasure. Do you remember being a little shithead loner kid with no friends, no social skills, and no ambition because your parents put you in 4 different schools before you turned 10 years old? And every time you exposed your emotional vulnerability to try and form a connection with someone, it was severed unconditionally with the hefty clank of a U-Haul door slamming shut? You don't? What are they teaching kids these days? Well, if you can stop watching AI-generated slop for 2 seconds to connect a couple neurons and imagine what that was like, I'll tell you all about how a little cosmic tour guide in training, emotionally isolated from a series of friendships cut short, turned to YouTube to cope and found 2 goofballs making skits and videos on the internet that, ChatGPT, summarize this dork's video for me in 3 sentences. I need to know if Baby Boo takes a bite out of the moon like a giant cookie or if he drops it on the earth like a massive wrecking ball. All right, I hear you. I talk for way too long. It's true, I'll stop wasting your time. Slap. I'm SlappyPat, your cosmic tour guide into the obscure and abandoned corners of the internet, where we seek out buried treasure with a critical but appreciative eye and discover just what made it so important. So these 2 goofballs, Alan Murphy and Craig Deering, started the Evil Iguana Productions channel in 2007. You know, a lot of the old guard from back then are famous millionaires today, but these 2, well, let's just say there's a reason I'm the one making the video on them. They came onto the scene with some honestly kind of brilliant ideas, and they actually had a viral hit for the time with this movie parody thing that they did. You might have even seen it if you're old enough. The Joker cosplay that Craig did was actually really good, considering cosplay hadn't really taken off to the extent it has today quite yet. But my favorite videos of theirs as a wee cosmic youth was their much less popular pseudo-straight man act web series. Alan, being the kind of chaotic, toxically masculine horn dog, always talking about girls and parties and working out, but very clearly lying about all of it.
You don't even look that good with your shirt off.
Dude, I'm working out, okay?
You go once a week.
Can I have your number or something? This is the time that chicks are gonna see me, and they're gonna be like, hey, I don't have to ignore them in class anymore.
See if anyone's doing anything. Go to a party or something, man.
Yeah, my mom. She's at work.
And then you have Craig, being the borderline completely uninteresting foil character to Alan.
Craig, dude. Alright, I got it.
What? Aren't you glad you listened to Alan? Go film Craig. Now you get to see me ironing. You just turned off my game.
Dude, for the show, I've got a world record you can break, man.
I don't care about breaking
You don't even have to do anything, alright? You don't like doing anything for the show anyway.
So, Alan's not even here today. Yet you're still filming me. You don't have many friends.
You know, back in the day, we would have called him a huge pussy.
Just because you didn't move, you're retarded.
You're like, no, I want to be a little guy.
No, I don't think gummy bears are gay.
Hey, it was a different time back then, right? That's what I'm supposed to say, I think, right? So, being the groundbreaking visionaries they were, Alan and Craig created the Alan and Craig Show. In unrelated news, my channel name is now Slappy Patrick Slaptastic Slap Happy Pat Slaps. So, the Alan and Craig Show was this series of 25 videos on old YouTube. They started filming these less than 2 years after the very first video was ever posted on this website. And they were already talking about how popular YouTube was and how much stuff was posted on here.
You've watched enough YouTube. You always see videos on YouTube. I was watching lots of YouTube.
And people ask me why I call it internet buried treasure. Like, even 20 years ago, we were already saying there was too much stuff to watch. Anyway, their show centered around their journey to become viral hits from the safety of suburban life. You know, back when that was like still a pretty realistic dream, actually.
We're on YouTube because we think that we have the potential to be the next big YouTube thing, right?
Yeah.
And the internet is a beautiful thing where I can use it to try to get laid.
Well, it was more of Alan's dream than Craig's anyway, but the two seemingly can't exist without each other.
Well then, why won't you let me quit whenever I ask you I want to quit?
Because it's the Alan and Craig show. We established at the first episode. You're stuck.
Every episode, Alan has some asinine idea to get famous, but it's usually something that's already been done before, like a viral challenge, as Craig usually warns him.
For our first thing, we're gonna do the Mentos and Diet Coke.
People have done that before.
Yeah, but we're gonna do it better. We could throw snowballs at cars.
That is a horrible idea.
And inevitably, they utterly fail to do anything with the idea, and they settle back in to start again another day.
Alright, 1, 2, 3. Yeah, that didn't... It didn't work.
You know, to be honest, the show itself is a slow burn. Like, the internet had a much longer attention span 20 years ago. And the two characters take quite a few episodes before you can tell they start to really feel comfortable acting and improvising on camera.
Dude, you're really tall, man. Like, how... Damn. Are you feeding ducks?
Well, obviously.
And even then, I hesitate to say that it's outright funny. It's comedic, it's interesting, and it is enjoyable to watch in the same way that pulling out your parents' old Polaroids is enjoyable. But funny is kind of subjective here. The humor hasn't aged poorly necessarily, but none of it has aged particularly well either. It's like, just kind of enjoyable.
Found this bag of buttons with your mom's sewing stuff, and I bet I could eat more of these than you.
Who eats buttons?
Go!
1. You just ate a button. Dude, I'm not even gonna try eating buttons. Stop
3.
eating them. Why are you eating? Okay, you win. You win.
4.
I'm not even gonna try. Stop eating the.
You know, the content of your parents' Polaroids might not be objectively interesting either. It's a lot of the same family vacation photos and holidays and birthdays that everybody's family has pictures of. But what makes those enjoyable to look through is like the time capsule aspect, the implication of how things used to be, the difference in their life in the past and your life today. And that's how I feel about the Alan and Craig show. That's not to say that they're never truly funny at times. There's usually a moment or two in every video that I find genuinely charming or well paced.
I started each one of the letters with like something in big letters. Steven Spielberg at least didn't like it. Neither did the cops.
Ready? Go!
Hey, stop cheating.
You could use your feet!
No.
But especially in the first few episodes, the acting is stiff, the improv is awkward and flat, and the plot is less of a plot and more of a series of moments that you might see on a storyboard.
Sausage.
Sausage?
Sausage.
Sausage.
Not
You
sausage.
sound like a Chicago construction worker. It's
But
sausage.
No, it's sausage. This is episode 2 of the Alan Craig show, right?
No.
A lot has happened since the first episode. We got a camera crew.
We hired them with their own money.
Hey.
And that makes it a masterpiece. I'm being completely serious here too. The show is categorically better than a lot of shit being made today. I'm not gonna give a rundown of the whole thing, like a whole recap. That's another video entirely. This video is focusing on what the show tried to do, and not so much about the show itself. But that's okay, because it's what the show tried to do that makes it a masterpiece. What this show ends up doing, just like your parents' old Polaroids, is show you what kids did for fun at this time, before constantly accessible internet and communication.
Oh, Craig, you are such an asshole!
But it's not the story of the show itself that does this. It's the fact that they made this show in the first place. You'll see what I mean in just a second. It's hard, it's impossible actually, to describe how much having a smartphone and constant access to the internet changed fucking everything. This is how people lived before constant entertainment existed in your back pocket. As you watch these episodes, you see that they're just always at Craig's house together. That's just what you did when you could only send 100 texts a month. It's the middle of the day and you see absolutely no one in these outside shots because there's just nothing to do in suburbia during the day. We used to just go to Walmart for fun, to hang out with our friends and see people. You didn't see anyone otherwise, and it's like, Walmart's not a place that you just do that. It's just the only thing you had. They have the internet, but it's stuck on a computer that weighs 100 pounds and takes 13 minutes to boot up. Pulling up a YouTube video to watch together would be like the one thing you did before before your friend had to go home for the day. So Alan and Craig, not the characters, the actual people, made this stupid show because of all those things I just said. Being this age at this time in suburbia just had this malaise that came with it, this like urban sadness. It felt like you were too disconnected from anything eventful. It felt like you couldn't go anywhere or visit anyone without it being a huge ordeal. And there wasn't much in your house that you hadn't already done 1,000 times over too. Oh boy, I can't wait to watch our family's collection of 12 DVDs and 20 VHSs again for like the 53rd time that I have since I was like 12 years old. What was your sanctuary from that? What cures that kind of boredom? It's something like this. Hey, my parents had this old camcorder. What if we made a movie? Like you had any idea of what making a movie actually even entailed? It would have been one of those things that just came to you when you were sitting on the couch watching your friend play Guitar Hero. The parents are at work for another 5 hours. You've already beaten every song on Expert. It's suburbia in the middle of the day and no one else is around. Hey, what if we just tried to make videos? Yeah, sure. What about? Just us, I guess. And you can feel that in every frame of these stupid videos. It's not like they sat down and really planned this all out and wrote a full script and revised it until it was perfect. No, dude, it was like, hey, my mom's at the grocery store and probably won't be home for another hour. Let's film something. Basically, every episode takes place in Craig's house and the suburban streets for quite a lot of the episode. They didn't exactly go scouting for locations or renting studios to film this in. You just made do with what you had because it wasn't actually about getting attention. It was more about having fun with your friends. It was fun to make shit, you know? Like, even if it's dumb, it's just fun to have a camera out filming. Especially, again, before we all had them on our person 24/7, there was like a novelty to being filmed. There might have been only like 30 minutes of tape on the VHS that you could record on. It's not like you had a terabyte of Google storage or Apple whatever to like throw all your old pictures and videos on. No cloud stuff.
And we've been sitting around for like an hour with nothing to do.
3 hours.
Still, I mean, that's 3 tapes that he's already gone through of us sitting here.
It's like, I'm just gonna act funny and like a goofball on camera because it's like we're making memories here. It's not just, I can't take this for granted. You can tell that all the extras they had were just their friends or their neighbors or their girlfriends. Like, the acting from all of them is so terrible. It's so beautifully awkward and real.
I'm a faceless. He's always...
He does that a lot. It's a thing when he's around girls. It's a compliment. He thinks he's
Oh my god, look at the chunks.
Oh!
But dude, just having the opportunity to begin with to go, hey, you want to join in on a shoot for our video? Was such a powerful thing because at the time that would have been so novel. I don't know how else to convey this. Like, simply doing a show like this in general was so new that even just knowing someone who was trying to do it at all would have been so cool and so much fun. Oh my god, did you hear Alan and Craig are making videos on the internet? That's so cool. People didn't know how to edit. People didn't even know what editing even really was, or how to get the video off the camera and onto the computer, much less how to render something out or cut together shots and trim the excess and upload it to YouTube. If you didn't know anyone already trying to do it and you didn't know how to do it yourself, you would never even have the opportunity to appear in a video or on camera. It's so much different now when TikTok has this built-in editor on your phone that also takes the video for you, that also imports the video into the editor, that also renders it out for you, that also posts it online in 2 seconds. The novelty doesn't exist anymore. That's what I love about this dumb show. I'm glued to my screen watching it because we'll never have this again. The naivete, the novelty, the charm of doing it. Even the story itself of 2 kids trying to do dumb challenges to go viral on the internet, it's not a story anymore. It's just something people do. For real, not as a joke for the story. People crave viral fame now with way different motivations, a lot of which are stupidly disingenuous and greedy. It's not believable anymore. If you try to sell me the story of unknown kid tries to go viral today, I'm just gonna automatically assume you're an industry plant or you're trying to sell me something. Like all those wannabe musicians on TikTok that try to sell their song blowing up naturally, like it wasn't the planned outcome from the boardroom meeting at their parents' publishing agency.
Okay, listen, I think I wrote the song of the summer. Try not to get too excited, but seriously, just wait. Okay, it's called Bomb, stands for Back on My Bullshit.
Did I just write the next emo anthem? We are the princes and princesses of the glory days.
But for Alan and Craig, the story was a lot more believable, even if it was just kind of an excuse to justify the setting of suburbia and the content of the videos than anything else. And you know, like this whole kind of like just making sketch videos with your friends for fun thing, like Smosh, like early Niga Higa, Alan and Craig, like any of this stuff, it all peaked before I had my chance to copy it for myself. I tried, but I was too young at the time to make anything coherent. And you know, as non-existent as the plot for this show is, Alan and Craig at least made something watchable. At the very least, they pulled it off, unlike me. That should be admired. Simply making one episode of anything is so inconceivably difficult if you've never tried to do it before. You sit down to do it, you start with writing the script. It's a blank canvas. How do you fill it with words? Are your words gonna have meaning? Where is this gonna go? You're halfway through it and you're already second guessing what you're doing. You're gonna start over a couple times too because it didn't quite get there the first few times. And the entire time you might even be thinking that it's gold, but you're gonna read it back when you're done and you're gonna be like, what is this? And that's before you've even contacted anyone to work with you or to act on camera, or you've sorted out a shooting schedule. And that's before you've even filmed anything, which could take days or weeks or months. And that is before you've even touched your editing software, which is like sitting down to write your story all over again for how much work it is, for how much of a blank canvas it is, for how much you're gonna second guess every part of it. And all of that worrying, that whole process, which might have taken 200 hours, is before you've second guessed everything you just filmed 1,000 times, driving yourself cuckoo bonkers, wondering if anything you just spent the last 200 hours on is even the slightest bit funny or interesting, and wanting to just scrap the entire fucking thing. Or, so I've heard. But then, these two idiots, they just did that whole thing 25 times in a row, younger than I am now. I admire that so much. It's not easy. It's not easy at all. And they did it anyway. Making a show like this isn't like talking to the camera for a vlog or filming yourself playing video games. The content isn't just you, it's the characters you've made, and the improv, and the writing. Everything is tainted with an audience that could potentially react like, wow, I can't believe you thought that was funny enough to share. You should have rewritten that.
The curfew nowadays, it's so stupid. I mean, no one has a curfew, right? And so I was like, what the f?
You don't have the built-in excuse of, well, you know, this wasn't planned, I'm just reacting in the moment. Because at the end of it, you had to sit down and edit it and say, yep, this is good enough for the final product. If you're making a show like this with characters and a world and a goal for those characters to reach, you always have the opportunity to technically reshoot something, rewrite something, get a better take, write a funnier joke. The end product is ideally the best thing that you could offer. It's taking a piece of your heart and offering it to the world and saying, yes, I think this is worth the price of admission. Please consume it. Please deem it worthy. And despite that, that wasn't the point here with the Alan and Craig show. They put their hearts out there, don't get me wrong, but the point wasn't to make something you liked, it was to make something they liked. And then, only then wondering if it would be good enough for other people too. It was like, hey, our parents aren't home, we can take dad's car out for this episode. Our friends think this shit is fun, we should rope them in on it. Like here, this obviously isn't some random car that they found driving down the road and threw a snowball at. It's obviously one of their friends that they asked to do the bit for them, and you can see how much fucking fun they're having, dude. Like that's so heartfelt. Imagine how you would have felt. You don't have any expectations of becoming famous just because your friends roped you in on a video, but YouTube itself and like sharing a video in the first place is still so new that simply being able to watch yourself online in your friends' dumb videos was so fucking cool. You felt like a celebrity anyway, even though you're just a nobody. And a small part of you did think that maybe it would go viral, and that made it all the more exciting. If you were Alan and Craig's friends at this time, you were watching every single video that they put out and hoping they'd ask you to be in the next one.
If you were huge, I wouldn't do that.
Man, I try really hard not to long for days gone by, but I do often wonder if we were better off. And don't get me wrong, I know that kids today still do things for fun. I'm not stupid, I'm not saying that they don't. Just because I grew up doesn't mean that everything has changed. I just see how this viral dream got so commodified over time, so saturated in every aspect. The earnest nature of it all just eroded, and I don't know, it stings a little bit. So, The Alan and Craig Show ran for 25 episodes, finishing in October of 2010. The writing and the acting got better as the show went on, the pacing improved, and you could tell that these guys never lost the fun that they had performing, all the way through. The whole point was just to have a good fun time goofing off with your friends. The final episode is super heartfelt. It comes full circle in multiple ways, and it's like 4 times as long as their usual episodes. And looky here, someone got kinda hot over the years, huh? The whole ending to it all is like super cathartic in a way that you just wouldn't expect from something that originated out of suburban boredom.
Craig, next time your mom makes Rice Krispie treats, tell her to make them gooier, because this is bull.
Ho, get out of my face.
What?
So, if you have the time, if you're interested at all, there is so much love that these 2 kids threw into this show, and you can binge it all in a few days. Hey, it's not like Netflix is giving you another season of your favorite show for another 3 years, right? You have the time. So, if you lived through these dog days in the 2000s, bored out of your mind with your friends, nothing to do, nowhere to go, you need to watch this to recapture those feelings. If you grew up after this, you need to watch it to discover those feelings for yourself. And if you're anyone else, you need to watch this because it's better than anything you're watching today that just wants to make you dumber and more complacent.
Tell me you did not just do that, man.
No, I did.
You're such an asshole, Craig. I swear to God.
So, my tier list rates not only the quality of the content that I cover, but how that content has aged. And I'm really torn on where to put The Alan and Craig Show. On one hand, I think that it blows most content today out of the water for sheer strength of heart. I literally referred to it as a masterpiece multiple times. This is a relic of a time where the desire to become famous on the internet wasn't born from dreams of money and McLarens, but out of a desire to share something with people and make a connection with the viewer over the internet. Admittedly, I am very biased towards anything that exhibits human spirit, that rails against the idea of commodification, efficiency, and optimization for ad revenue. On the other hand, I understand that I have this bias, and I try to look at this content objectively. You have to really respect the intent of what Alan and Craig were trying to do, or you will probably not enjoy this. Listen, it was written and filmed by some young, bored kids who were trying to have fun. Some of these jokes would have been cliche even 20 years ago when they were filming it. The story is an excuse to have fun on camera, and the pacing can be pretty slow, especially in the beginning. But that's not to say that these 2 cannot act at all. There are several moments where I do laugh out loud. There's a good amount of restraint that not many other early YouTubers had. They don't lean super hard into the loud equals funny thing that was super popular back then, or grind the same one joke into the fucking dirt over and over and over. And you know what? For a single camera show, there is some decent shot composition and cuts. These 2 clearly have some good filmmaking instincts. So you can see my confliction here. With all of this in mind, weighing the human spirit of Alan and Craig on one hand, and on the other hand, weighing the mental prerequisites you need to have in order to appreciate it, I'm gonna give The Alan and Craig Show a rating of stayed in the attic, with an asterisk. My rating of stayed in the attic means that it's either gotten a little worse or gotten a little better, but not catastrophically so. It's like finding a box of your old toys in your parents' attic and loving the memories of them, but knowing that you're never gonna actually pull them out to play with again. That kind of sums up how I feel about their show. I don't feel like I can show this to people and have them innately understand it the way that I do. I have some really good memories from when I watched it as a kid, and I can use those memories to inform my adult brain that the focus is on the intent and not the end result. But I think it's a lot harder to get to that conclusion without someone explaining it to you. So in this case, I feel like it hasn't aged poorly, but it also doesn't have a super broad appeal today or a super big impact. With an asterisk. The asterisk is, if you're like me, if you can't stand the commodification of the internet, if you hate having to question whether or not a viral video is secretly an ad, then The Alan and Craig Show is without a doubt double S tier, slappy stash. It is infinitely more charming than a lot of content on YouTube today and pretty much all content on TikTok. That means something. That's important. That's worth remembering. That's human.
Entertaining to watch.
I think I'm just done.
You're done?
Yeah, like with that stuff.
You're done. You're just gonna end it like that? You're just done. What are you gonna do? You're gonna play baseball? You suck at sports. What is this? Alan, you are such an asshole.
So after their YouTube days, Alan and Craig went on to make their own actual films, as you might imagine from two kids that spent their youth making videos and sketches on the internet. I don't really keep up with them anymore, but I will always appreciate what they gave me as a kid myself. A few other videos that they made at the time are some of my favorites from old YouTube, like the Sprite and Banana Challenge. It's kind of a shame that these guys never got more attention. Or maybe it's not. Maybe this is exactly what they were meant to do. Making videos only for the people that got it and not for every single pair of eyes in the world. And I think that might have been a huge inspiration for me. So thanks guys for making one lonely suburban cosmic kid who moved around way too much feel seen. He might not have had the ability to make friends like you guys, but you made him feel like one day he could learn how to make videos for fun too. Hey, thanks for watching another episode of Internet Buried Treasure. If you had already seen the Alan and Craig show before watching my video, let me know. I'd love to hear what you thought of it, especially if you watched it when it came out like I did. I'm super curious. Please let me know. And before I sign off here, I'd like to give a really big thanks to everyone that subscribed and watched my last video. This was a crazy thing to wake up to. I literally tripled my subscribers and my view count overnight. I really can't thank you enough for anyone who left a comment. Everyone was being really supportive, and I never thought that anyone would even care about anything I have to say to begin with. So speaking of comments, I got a couple from people who had ideas for Internet Buried Treasure episodes. Special shout out to Noxie, who brought up the bizarre lost media history of early Nightcore. I had a Nightcore phase myself for a brief moment when I was younger, and I didn't know it had this crazy origin to it that was lost to time apparently. I also received a scoop via email about a crazy precursor to the huge Among Us craze that took over the internet for a few months. It sounds really cool, and it's something that I'm taking a further look into. If you have an idea for Internet Buried Treasure, absolutely let me know. I do have a preference for things that I'm kind of already familiar with. It just makes scripting and like researching a lot easier, but I do take a look at everything that's suggested. Other than that, I have some more videos in the works for Reddit content, old YouTube videos, and more stuff that shows off the glorious, awkward, imperfect human spirit. If you're interested in that kind of content, hit subscribe and ding the bell. That way I know I've served you well. And if you enjoyed your tour of the old internet, leave a tip for your guide in the form of a like. Thank you again for all the support, Cosmic Cadets. Maybe together, we can build a community that pushes back against AI slop and faceless YouTube automation. I'd really like that. That's all I have for you this time. Slip slap. This has been SlappyPat.